This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, friends, Afreilichen Shushan Purim. Today, of course, is the 15th of Adar, and aside from being Shushan Purim, it's also the first Yahrtzeit of Maran, Reb Shmaryahu Yosef Chaim Kanievsky, Reb Chaim Kanievsky. So I was thinking this morning, what is the connection between Reb Chaim Kanievsky and this particular date, the 15th day of Adar, Shushan Purim? And perhaps there is some meaning and symbolism in the fact that why do we even have Shushan Purim? Why doesn't Klal Yisrael celebrate one day of Purim like every other Yom Tif? We discussed Erev Yom Tif, but I think in the context of the Petira of Reb Chaim Kanievsky, I think this might be very meaningful. Reb Chaim Kanievsky was nifter the day after Purim. Why is there a Shushan Purim? Why are there 2 days of Purim? So there are a few approaches. One is the approach of the Ramban. The Ramban says that actually in year 1, they only made one Purim on the 14th. Why is that? Because they said, why should the walled city people celebrate Purim? They were never in danger. They were never threatened by Haman. They're protected by the wall. So in year 1, they only enacted Purim on the 14th. In year 2, they recognized, you know what? In all probability, if Haman had the capacity to threaten to destroy the Jewish people, then there's no difference, yes wall, no wall. If we're in danger even with a wall. And they realized even the walled city people were in danger. They didn't want to make their Purim the same day as everybody else because they wanted to indicate that they were sort of late in the action and that they had somewhat of a discrepancy in the establishment of that day than the regular Prazim. So they realized in year 2 that the same way the open city people were in danger, the walled city people were also in danger. It's because it's not the wall that protects you. A person's not protected by a wall. A person's protected by God. And if God doesn't protect you, a wall's not going to do anything. Is this not so relevant and connected to the life of Reb Chaim Kanievsky? Is this lesson that it's not the wall that protects you, not one of the essential messages of the life of Reb Chaim Kanievsky? Don't we all remember that so long as Reb Chaim was in Bnei Brak, no missile ever hit in the vicinity of Bnei Brak? Why? Why was that? Did they have better Iron Dome? Did they have a wall to protect them? Did they have better security? Did they have more soldiers? Of course not. What did they have? They had Ani Chayma v'Shadai K'migdalais. Ani Chayma Elu Bate Kneisiyos Bate Midrashos Elu Tamidei Chachamim. They had Shemaryahu. They had the protection of God. So this is one of the essential messages of Shushan Purim. The reason we have Shushan Purim is to teach it's not a wall that protects you. It's the Shmira Elyonav HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was one of the great gifts Reb Chaim Kanievsky brought to Klal Yisrael. It wasn't the physical protection that he brought, but it was his spiritual Shmira. So can there be a more appropriate Yoma Hilula than Shushan Purim, the day the Ramban teaches us, that teaches Klal Yisrael that it's not the wall that protects us, but it's Im Hashem lo yishmar yer shav shakat shomer. What else do we learn from Reb Chaim Kanievsky? Perhaps more than anyone of recent memory, the Reb Chaim's Hasmada, of course, was legendary. And that's also one of the reasons for Shushan Purim. Chassam Sofer writes in the Torah, Moshe, why do we have 2 separate days of Purim? Because Purim is a very busy day, we're preoccupied in the mitzvahs hayom, and if everyone would have the same day of Purim, perhaps there would be a moment when there was no Limud Torah. So we spread Purim over 2 days, so that when the Bnei America are observing Purim, the Bnei Yerushalayim are learning. When the Bnei Yerushalayim are learning, the Bnei America are learning. When the Bnei Yerushalayim are observing Purim, we're learning Torah. So the purpose of Shushan Purim, the message of Shushan Purim, is the fundamental lesson of Imloi Brisi Yoimam Valayla Chukoy Shamayim Va'aretz Leisamti. The message of Shushan Purim is the centrality of Torah. The message of Shushan Purim is that what does the world stand on? V'talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. So Shushan Purim is the calendar date that bespeaks to the world that the whole world stands on Torah. If not for Torah, Chukoy Shamayim Va'aretz Leisamti. Who more than Reb Chaim Kanievsky broadcast and symbolized and represented this great ideal of Klal Yisrael, that the Torah is a Torah's Chaim, that it literally breathes life into the whole world. So these two great lessons of Shushan Purim: A, it's not the wall that protects; it's Shemar Yahu, it's the protection of God, and the lesson that the Torah is Yosef Chaim, it's the Torah that adds life to the world. These two great lessons, the Shmira and the life-giving properties of the Torah, are the lessons of Shushan Purim, and we see how appropriate the Yom HaHilul of Reb Chaim Kanievsky is. So we hope on this occasion he should be a Meilz Yosher for all of Klal Yisrael, and we should all be Zoicha to Yeshuos v'Nechamos. And as Rashi says in Masechta Tainis, Mishanichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha Yemei Nisim Hayu Yisrael Purim Pesach, meaning the happiness of Adar continues all the way till Pesach. So I wish you all a wonderful day of Freilich and Shushan Purim. Tonight there will be the Wednesday night share. This week will be at 8:30. This was just an appetizer, but the Ikar shir will be at 8:30 tonight. Thank you everybody for joining. Bracha v'atzlacha.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.